started with dinner tonight, I'm going to go ahead and slice up 3 golden potatoes on the mandolin. I'm going to be making scallop potatoes, and just a little FYI, this recipe was delicious. Spray your baking dish with some non-stick spray, and then lay all the potatoes in a single line, making sure to completely cover the bottom of the dish. I grated up half a block of the smoked Swiss cheese, and then in my measuring cup I have 3 cups of heavy whipping cream, which I'm adding 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, salt and pepper, and 1 teaspoon of minced garlic, and then give that a stir. I started to pour the sauce all over the potatoes and then realized that there was plenty of sauce to add another row. So I moved these 2 rows to the sides and added a middle line of potatoes and then poured over the rest of the sauce. Then you want to add half of your grated cheese on top and bake this uncovered in a 400-degree oven for 30 minutes. For the pork tenderloin, I'm just going to cook it per the package instructions, not adding anything extra to it. The potatoes have been in the oven for 30 minutes and I'm taking it out to give it a stir. You want to make sure that all of the potatoes are completely covered in the sauce and incorporate that melted cheese. After it's been combined, you want to go ahead and add the remaining of your grated cheese and pop this in the oven for 15 more minutes, again uncovered. Next, I'm going to work on the white wine sauce to pour over the pork tenderloin. So in my saucepan I have 1 tablespoon of butter, which I've added about 1/4 of a white onion, and 1 teaspoon of minced garlic. Then you want to saute this for 3 to 5 minutes. While it's sauteing, I'm going to add some salt and pepper. And then I added 1 cup of white wine and cooked that down until it reduced by half. Then I added some Italian seasoning. This was probably about 1/4 of a teaspoon. Once the wine has cooked down, then you want to add half a cup of heavy whipping cream and again let that simmer. I do recommend adding a cornstarch slurry to this because as you'll see, the consistency was very thin. And then as an easy side, I'm going to be making this pre-made Caesar salad kit from Aldi's. As you can see, the sauce is pretty thin. That's why I recommend a cornstarch slurry, but overall the flavor was great. This is a really good topping for the pork. The scallop potatoes were the star of dinner tonight. They're not healthy whatsoever, but they were absolutely delicious. We loved them, and they were so easy to make. I'm for sure going to be making this in the future, try out a different type of cheese, and probably add some bacon bits. But overall, dinner tonight was really good. I have 2 chicken breasts that I've cut in half, and I'm going to start off by seasoning one side with salt and pepper. Then you want to transfer them to your baking dish and season the other side with salt and pepper. After both sides of the chicken have been seasoned with salt and pepper, then you want to grate up half a block of your choice of cheese. I'm using smoked Swiss, but I've used pepper jack in the past and that's also really good. Then you want to add all of the grated cheese on top of the chicken. To your measuring cup, you want to add 1/4 cup of milk, but in the end I ended up using about half a cup of milk, as well as 1 can of cream of chicken soup. I did cream of chicken with herbs. As well as half a teaspoon of garlic powder. This is when I noticed that the sauce was still a little bit too thick, so I ended up adding some more milk. Give it a good stir, and then you want to pour this mixture on top of the chicken and cheese and then spread it out evenly. And then I'm going to take 1 box of chicken stuffing mix and pour the entire bag on top of the chicken. As well as 1/4 cup of melted salted butter drizzled right on top. Then you want to pop this in a 350-degree oven for 45 minutes uncovered. While that's cooking, I'm going to get started on our green beans. I've drained off all the water, and then I'm going to add chicken broth, just enough to cover the green beans. As well as half a teaspoon of the roasted garlic better than bouillon paste, some onion powder, as well as some salt and pepper. I've made this recipe a handful of times, a couple of times in the crock pot, but I prefer cooking it in the oven so that the stuffing actually gets crispy. This is a really easy dinner to make. It's also really filling and comforting. I recommend you guys giving this a try. To get started on our kale salad, I'm going to go ahead and prepare the lemon dressing. I will have all of the ingredients listed below in the description box. And just a little tip for this salad, the longer it sits, the better it tastes. I prepared this 5 hours before actually starting on dinner. After preparing the dressing, you want to get your kale ready, so I'm ripping off the stalks and then tearing it up into small bite-sized pieces before giving it a wash. This next step is pretty important. You don't want to skip it. You have to tenderize your kale, so just put on some olive oil and salt and massage this until it turns to a dark green color. You want to tenderize it so that it's easier to eat, and then you're also really working in that salt to flavor the kale leaves. As you can see, it's turned to a dark green color and it has reduced down in size. So what I'm doing is adding some more fresh kale right on top, and then again, I'm going to massage that. Next up, we're going to be adding the toppings, some shredded carrots, sliced almonds, dried cranberries, and some cubed cheddar cheese. The recipe does call for broccoli, which I completely forgot to buy, but broccoli is really good in this. You can also add some chopped up raw onion. Then you want to pour over your lemon dressing and give that a good stir to get incorporated. And like I said, the longer this sits, the better it tastes. So make sure you pop this in the fridge covered for at least a few hours before eating. But this is really good eating the next day. For our salmon, we're going to preheat the oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. And then I've lined a baking dish with some tin foil and sprayed it with nonstick spray before putting down the pieces of salmon. And then you want to season your salmon before putting on the sweet chili sauce. So I did some garlic powder, salt, and pepper. I feel like ground ginger would have been good as well. I'll try that next time. Once your salmon pieces have been covered by the sauce, you want to cook this in the 400-degree oven for 15 minutes. And I'm just going to microwave this frozen white rice for something easy. Once your salmon's been pulled out of the oven, you just want to brush up some of that extra sauce onto the fillets, and then I'm going to top them with some sesame seeds. Dinner tonight was light and healthy. We really enjoy this kale salad. I especially like making it during summertime. It goes so hot and humid here in North Carolina, so this salad is something really nice to eat because it's cold and light on your stomach. And like I said, it's best eaten the next day. You can add some grilled chicken on top and make it into a complete meal. So thank you guys so much for watching this week's video. I hope you enjoy and you try out a couple recipes, especially those scallop potatoes. I'll see you guys next week.